I am saying that no child should leave school without completing the compulsory 13 years of education. Out of 358,000 children who entered grade 1 in 2011, only 311,000 sat for the ordinary level examination. That means approximately close to 47,000 children have dropped out. One of the main objectives of our education reforms is that no child should drop out of school midway. If a child doesn't come to school for 3 consecutive days, public officials should conduct a personal inquiry into that child. Every child should be kept in school until they complete the 13 years of education. This is included in this program.
The President made a revelation regarding schools based on data from the year 2023. The President said that there are 98 government schools where not a single child was admitted. 115 schools have fewer than 10 students. 1,506 schools have fewer than 50 students. 3,144 schools have fewer than 100 students.
This situation is not good. Therefore, we need to review this school system again. We will definitely make that decision. I openly say that this discussion needs to happen without fear. Some schools should be closed. Some schools should be merged. Some new schools should be started in some areas. For this, we must consider relocating these schools. On one hand, people fight to keep the village school. On the other hand, they fight to send their children to the school in town. Remember, this needs to be examined school by school. Also, if there is no transportation, we are ready. Imagine a school in a few large buildings with a large number of teachers and only 10 students. It's more economically beneficial to give children a free bus ride to a school in the town. The current teacher-to-student ratio is 1:18, which is an optimal ratio. A 1:18 ratio is very good. However, if you go and look at every district, there's a shortage of teachers. I recently attended the Hambantota District Development Committee meeting. There's a shortage of 700 teachers, but the ratio is 1:18. What is the ratio in schools with fewer than 50 students? In schools that has fewer than 50 students, the ratio is 1:5. There are 5 children per teacher. In one school, there are 30 children and 9 teachers. So human resources are being wasted. There's a school in Kuchaveli with 2 children and 2 teachers. There's a school in Bandaravela in the Haldamulla Education Division with 3 children and 3 teachers. Therefore, our education reform program is about the government taking responsibility for providing an optimal level of education to every child.
The President explained the changes that will happen in school education for children.
There were volleyball courts in villages back in the day. There are no volleyball courts in villages today. Earlier, after harvesting paddy fields, children used to play elle in the fields. We are creating a generation of children who are like machines, devoid of warmth, lacking empathy and without a sense of responsibility towards society. What kind of education is this? Tuition classes start at 4 a.m. Children go to school after finishing classes. After school, they come back and go for tuition classes. A country cannot progress like this. We must reduce the burden of education placed on children. That's our responsibility. We are creating a generation of children like robots. Shouldn't this be changed? That's why we are redesigning the entire education system. The subjects, the teaching methods, the weight and quantity given to them, all with the aim of giving children a vibrant life. 300,000 children enter grade 1. However, only 1,800 are admitted to medical faculty. 300,000 children are walking down one path, aiming to become doctors or engineers. That singular path needs to change. Education should be a multitude of paths. From there, every profession needs to be brought to a professional standard. If you look at our masons today, how does the next mason learn the trade? By following behind his master. The person who follows him becomes an even bigger master, and the person who follows him may become a bad worker. Do they finish the work once they take it on? There are plenty who abandon work halfway. Why haven't these professions been given a professional status? Shouldn't education bring in that competence, that experience, that discipline, and that professionalism?
What are the changes happening in the subjects? President Disanayake spoke on that as well.
Learn everything until grade 9. These are basic social activities. In grade 9 and 11, what path do they take? The child, parents and teachers come together and decide what path this child should take. So in grades 10 and 11, they learn the subjects necessary for that path. What's wrong with that? If they want, they can change it when they are in grade 9s to 11. After that, they can come to grade 12 and 13. By then, their path is certain. In essence, the child is taken on a continuous, unbroken path from grade 9, 10, 11 and 12. So, this is the path. It's not about removing history or removing religion. What are they saying? Every child will receive the fundamental basics. However, we need to create specialized knowledge that goes beyond that. There is a path for that in grades 12 to 13. Parents think that the advanced level exam is the final hurdle in their child's education. We need to create an educational level that goes beyond that. Just as the national university system is built beyond that, vocational training centers are our priority. Today, these vocational education centers are often sought after by those who couldn't get into medical faculties or engineering faculties, or couldn't go abroad and pursue private education. So they think, let's just try our hand at the technical college. This is considered understood education. Our policy is that it's not understood education, it's fundamental education. We are building at least 40 vocational centers, at least 2 per district, by the year 2033.
The president also spoke about teachers.
I'm not disparaging anyone. This is the reality. There are plenty of people who don't know how to send an email, send an SMS or send a WhatsApp message. But how can they create a child for the new generation? How can they create a modern child? They are given a system to fill in. They fill in papers, fill in boxes. If they get more, they go home and fill in more boxes. They fill them in and send the reports. But the children are stagnating. This education gives no freedom to children, no freedom to teachers. Therefore, these teachers should at least undergo a year of training every 5 years. If we manage this human resource, we actually have a surplus of teachers at this moment. Choosing which subject should be included or excluded, that's not my job. It's not the job of the education minister. That's the job of education specialists. There are experts specifically for that. It became a political issue. And I saw someone say that history was removed when he wasn't in Sri Lanka. Don't take it like that. Let's not take on everything. What's appropriate and what's not, what we know and what we don't. That's the role of the education sector. They will decide. We should create the system, the framework and the objective. That's the role of the political authority. Filling in the details, the flesh within that created framework and structure is the role of education specialists.
The president requested the support of everyone for the proposed education reforms.
This isn't something that will collapse with a change of government. This is something that we must sustain long term. Let's reform this. Let's debate about other things. We have enough to fight and quarrel about here for other matters. But for this, let's come to a consensus. Because I know that when making a decision about a village school, one could incite trouble if they wanted to. Please don't incite trouble. If we need to, let's all participate in making that decision. Therefore, support this reform and modernization of this school system. Every child must receive an optimal education. There was a small debate about whether division of education into national and provincial levels contributed to this downfall, and that factor still exists. We can't touch that right now. It's a broader subject. But let's discuss that too. Because is there such a thing as national education and regional education? There isn't. There are big roads and small roads, there are big canals and small canals, but education is education. Why are we creating a division in education? Therefore, the aim is societal reform. We have started this reform. I request all of you to contribute to this. Thank you very much, everyone.